You all have me thinking of how I am going to transition. Maybe I'll get cremated. My ashes spread out across Bedford Park. Maybe I'll hold a small, quaint gathering at a funeral home with the last few who held space in my heart. Maybe it'll be a grand affair. Lights flashing from ceilings, a gold-encrusted coffin, a pastor preaching from John 14, silencing a crowd who is grieving, carrying a bouquet of roses to my body, reminding folks why we should give them their flowers while they are still here. I do not know how I am going to leave this planet. I do not know when. I do know that when I go, I'd rather you tell them about how I enjoyed sunsets more than I did mornings. Tell them I laughed as hard as I cried. Tell them I found joy in the worst moments. That I searched for a smile somewhere in the pits of depression. Tell them I thrived in the learning of lessons. Tell them I was born to be heard. That I crawled out my mama's womb 10 pounds, 8 ounces heavy with hands that most would barely consider ready, and our hearts pure by the passion of dreams sown with faith the size of mustard seed, and I will make you believe if you let me. Tell them when I loved, it was unselfish, like there was an abundance of it even if I didn't know. Tell them when I hugged, I held on like I couldn't let go. Tell them I was walking target, that girls who looked like me could not last quarter century, that we could not cry and fight and stand in sight without trying to write our own eulogy. Tell them I was bad at lying, that I couldn't keep a poker face to save my life and has probably caused me more strife than anything. Tell them I'd speak life into anything. Tell them that we were about to get lit, I'd probably say we could get into anything. Tell them I was a scholar. That I spent hour after hour in libraries searching the spines of bookcases to knock down walls of knowledge that my young eyes unimaginable coming from the towers. Another hood in the Bronx borough. Tell them I was blessed and my God is thorough. Tell them I knew God, that I believed his grace was sufficient. Tell them I prayed to be acceptable in his vision. Tell them I was never sent on a mission too big or too little. Tell them my dreams were far too big for my pillow. Tell them I was a force to be reckoned with, a wallflower perked upright, a spark with the intensity of 1,000 flames just waiting to ignite. Tell them I was a wildfire raging at nights, cutting into darkness, taking every last thing on earth I came into contact with and making it light. Tell them I was a concrete road, still learning how to ride a bike. Tell them I was merely an empty sky, just waiting to fly a kite. Tell them I occasionally wrote down words. I recited them on stages. Tell them I got a rush from filling them up onto pages. Tell them I used this pen as an outlet through all of my awkward phases. Tell them I knew poetry better than I knew the looks on some people's faces. Tell them I prayed it would take me places. Tell them I prayed it would take me places. Tell them I've been to 5 continents, 7 countries, 25 cities, and have laid in beds other than my own. But just remember, one day after I am gone, you tell them that no matter where I was or what I did, it was here, through these poems, that I, Imani Jalisa Wallace, found home. What's going on, WestPoint? How you doing? Y'all good? Y'all are a quiet crowd tonight. I love energy, I love noise, I love sass. Happy Black History Month. Yes. Valentine's Day? Yeah. I was told I have to do a love poem because it's Valentine's Day. But what's interesting is that I feel like a lot of times love, right? If Valentine's Day is supposed to be a celebration of love, why are we only sort of like boxing love into, you know, love with a significant other? You can love your friends, you can love your family, right? So Valentine's Day can be like a celebration of like all love, right? Because love is unconditional. And so I got, you know, some love things for y'all. Got some black things for y'all. So, this piece is a poem that I wrote for a little boy that I love dearly, and it's called For Nasir. My nephew turned 6 2 days ago. His smile is still the light that illuminates my world. His voice is still the reminder that innocence comes in 3-foot packages. His hug is still the nestled feeling that love can pocket itself into life and attach onto your favorite hoodie as you wear the joy it brings through any season or time. My nephew turned 6 2 days ago, and he still has autism. The word still haunts my family like a grim reaper, tiptoeing through our wildest dreams, slashing the chords in our voice boxes. We'd rather not speak on it. I'd rather tell you about how his laughter reminds me of 1,000 butterflies flapping their wings through the largest garden in Paris, or sounds sweeter than the ripest sugar cane in Kingston, or how his face explodes in a peak of proudness whenever he beats me at Super Mario on the Wii. He is just a breath of fresh air for me. I do not understand why doctors keep breaking his brain for answers. Ones that only he has and are not willing to share. There is just no room for them to overstay their welcome here. He only reserves space for the kind of love that doesn't judge, the type that fills his heart with joy, the kind that reminds him he is God's gift to this world and my family couldn't have been blessed with a better baby boy. My nephew turned 6 2 days ago, and teachers will still sour his air with complaints. Say that Nasir is going through some of his moods, acting in some of his ways, that maybe my sister should just pick him up early today, and when he comes back tomorrow, he better learn how to sit and stand and walk and move and fall in line like all these other good kids do, that maybe he should be in control of his episodes today, otherwise my sister should just send him to another school. As if he's incapable of learning. As if learning can only happen in your monotype of reality, but in actuality, you are not the teacher that he needs if you're going to convince him that fitting in is the only way to succeed. My nephew turned 6 2 days ago, and doctors will say he is diagnosed. But I know all that means is he has been given a fancy word for unique. That his brain wires him in more creative ways to express himself when he speaks. That being born to stand out is an overrated fear, and society's carbon copy messages are the only ones they'd rather groom you to seek. Blaming him because he's not a clone, because others choose not to understand you're kind of beautiful and won't leave him alone. But Nasir, it's not up to them to determine that. There is nothing in this world that would change about your path, that your purpose to teach us all lessons in this life may not come in the form of English or math, but you're just as bold and as brilliant as the next kid, and I'll be damned if anyone tells you different, that your name is Swahili for prince. So you better walk like you was born to rule this kingdom that even I made fun of. They tried to tell him he was insane for thinking a bolt of light would ever become the next big thing. Nasir, you shine bright. Brighter than the burning ball of gas in the sky. Brighter than the highest shooting star will ever fly. Brighter than the next person to misunderstand your thoughts. My nephew turned 6 2 days ago. I will teach him that the challenges he faces in this life are not his fault. That no one is perfect. There is no guidebook to being human. In fact, we are all still figuring it out. So, are there any best friends in this room? Chance? Oh my gosh, your partner doesn't count as your best friend.
We best friends.
Like, okay, like your platonic best friend. Like,
Okay with that.
okay, great. So I think best friends are truly special people, and they deserve to definitely be like told like how special that they are. I know like without my best friends, I don't know where I would be. They definitely help to shape you and mold you throughout different times and phases of your life. So this is actually a piece that I wrote not only for my best friends, but for best friends everywhere.
And if your best friends aren't like this, then you need to get you some new friends. Everybody needs a gang who will swing for you. Laugh and do bad things with you, get in the rain and sing with you, stop, drop, and roll on the floor with you, get you a 1 or 2 that'll go to war with you, a wingman for backup after they knock on the door with you, and call them your soulmates. Call them your kindred spirit kind of lovers that do not require an I do date, but rather they are built-in companions at it. Come with the package, no batteries sold separately. You call them your partner and deputy. You call them when you need them desperately. You call them more than a bestie. Because how can such a word mean also confidant, mean also a love so raw and so pure you are not built to hide it? When you find someone who will take you for you, a team that has stayed in the gym to just shoot, you have found a friend that'll ride for you. And that is an extraordinary truth. It is a night of clubbing where shorty get loose. It is the cookies and the apple juice. It is a view from the penthouse roof. It is a handshake that we make to remind the outside world we be thick as thieves. We be radical black joy. We be joined at the hips. We be worship. We be reason, not season. We be the crossing of paths and the bellowing of not leaving. We be a vacation because you are missed. A vacation with group passport pics. We be a church service after a night of unholiness. It is a prayer over each other's folded hands when being a colored girl or a colored boy is not enough. It is the resurgence of wholeness after feeling like somebody did walk away with all your stuff. It is asking no questions except who we gotta beat up after somebody did walk away with all your stuff. It is the feeling. It is the feeling that if I die alone, I had a hell of a time worth living because I spent it with all of you. It is the feeling that if I die with someone right by my side, I had the best bridesmaids and groomsmen and godmothers and goddads for all my children that I could ask for. It is not having to ask for anything much. It is asking if you need a hug. It is knowing when you need a hug at all. It is the shedding of a tear or crying fiercely because you know who will be there to catch them fall. It is a friendship so pure and so raw. No wonder there is not another soul on earth I would trade you for. Thank God. Thank God.
Yes.
So, Black History Month. Yes. Once again. And I have some black poems for y'all. So, I'm a black woman. So we're talking about being a black girl. Being a black girl means saying things as politely as possible and still being told you how to act. Or, so, per my last email, automatically means, can't you read? And all of a sudden you're being lectured about politics of respectability. So when you make a face or show some personality, you are automatically being sassy. You are just rolling your eyes because you have to be. You are black like ancestors and slave ships and soul food, you name it. You better know how to cornrow and act, because if you don't, I just thought you would because you're black. Don't get angry at that. Being a black girl means you gotta know how to twerk on cue and double dutch and nay and fried chicken and serve a man and do the best you can to keep him. Because your whole life is defined by a relationship. You don't want to be the single mother you grew up with, black girl, or maybe you do. Because being a black girl means being strong and independent and never wrong. Because if you make one mistake, your whole future is gone. You ain't got time to make mistakes black girl. You ain't got time to make mistakes because the whole world is depending on you to be the face, to be the face, to be the face of the next actress or athlete or first lady of the United States, all so they can criticize your hair, clothes, and face. Being a black girl is being the first one to be replaced. So you gotta work twice as hard. You better hurt half as much. You better be polite, yet outspoken, yet conservative, but still be open, be just enough. So if they ask, they can touch, you still be disposable. You will still be black queen just as long as you are not represented in their magazines until you are trendy, until you are token, until you are front page of a white university's brochure because they needed one last girl to fill their quota. Being a black girl means waking up some morning and not having one iota of patience, but you gotta wait your turn and be patient because nobody is cutting the line for you, black girl. Nobody is letting you get ahead. Instead, they will mark your progress a fraction, attribute your success to affirmative action, strip you dry of all of your passion because being a black girl, being a black girl, being a black girl means having both the privilege and the tragedy of being magic. So, from New York City, I'm from the Bronx, born and raised. And living in New York City, we take the train everywhere. But yeah, so riding the train, I see and hear some very outrageous things. And so one day I was riding the train and a white woman made a very inappropriate comment. And I was like, wow, I have to write about this. And so here it is. For the white woman on the F train who said she can't wait to have a Mexican Thanksgiving with her cousins where they make empanadas and electric margaritas. Does a holiday of genocide excite you? Tearing a land from a people it belonged to, also that generations later they could rewrite history and make it comfortable for folks just like you. So you celebrate in a similar fashion. Pay homage to your thieving ancestors by ripping another culture from underneath its feet. Your tradition is Mexican Thanksgiving. But your vote was probably for a wall to be built as we speak. It's funny how immigrants be the most hated Americans until it's time to eat their food, use their services, or stand up against a caravan. There ain't nothing American about building your own shit, unless you black. Answer me this. On the 4th of July, do you celebrate by kneeling for the Confederate flag? Or better yet, do you stand in reverence for the Star-Spangled Banner and make every black body feel like if they kneel, they do not deserve the promise of the national anthem? Do you indenture slaves on Labor Day? Is it a pastime of yours to reinvent new ways of making sure things stay the same? Is there a guidebook of costumes you would dress up as on Halloween? Is it called a eulogy? I ask because far too many deceased have been mocked in the name of trick or treats. How was your December 25th? Do you celebrate by having a black Christmas? Fry some chicken and make some Kool-Aid, turn up the radio and play some Kanye. What do you do on Martin Luther King Day? Put on your best suits, march down to your nearest Negro town, start a march and then sit in with the crowd, put your hands up and hope they won't shoot. Fire hose your body as if we aren't already in flames, or Birmingham bomb away the pain. Perhaps you keep a calendar to count down the days your whiteness will continue to take up space, or maybe you just make a leap year in the first place. And so, I have one last piece for you before I get out of your hair. By the way, I just wanted to quickly say, by the way, my name is Lyrical Faith. You can find me, right, on Instagram and Facebook if you go to Lyrical Faith Poetry. So that's just LYRICALFAITH Poetry. And I'll be around afterwards if you want to talk and answer some questions. So this last piece, has anyone ever boycotted anything here before? Has anyone, anything? What have you boycotted? I want to know. What have you boycotted? A whole newspaper section. Okay.
So
to H&M. I am probably wearing one of your shirts as we speak. Thank God it doesn't say coolest angry black woman in the classroom or coolest slave descendant in America or coolest watermelon lover at the picnic. And fun fact, did you know picnic was derived from the phrase pick a nigger? It was coined in the 17th century where whites would pick a black person to lynch and invite others to gather around the tree and watch as the bodies swing like strange fruit and call it a family gathering. You know, like the type where you bring your children to the zoo, like how you stare at a primate exhibit through the glass, pointing, laughing, giving it commands, climb monkey, hold tight on to bark, swing from tree branch, you know, just like a nigger, do tricks, dance, model for us, strike a pose. Matter of fact, throw on this hoodie, looking just like a nigger. Let me take a pic. Send it to my CEO so he can watch as you are lynched in front of a boardroom of executives gather around as they pick their next nigger to star front and center of a new children's ad and call it a family clothing line. Is that how the little black boy get casted in a role stereotype long before his time? He didn't know he was starring in an age-old film, the kind where black folk get told we are evolution, get told we are subjects of Charles Darwin's scientific racism, where we are supposed to believe gorillas, orangutans, and chimpanzees be the origin of our species, get told that Tarzan be the lord of an African country, while the black characters be apes, at least the white man be a person. But ain't that what you've always done? Reduce black man to less than human, like he be animal, like he be object, like he be chattel slavery, like he be 3/5 a citizen, like he be King Kong front page of a newspaper dragging away a white girl on the same day the case of the Scottsboro boys went public. 9 black teenagers falsely accused of raping 2 white women, all sentenced to life and damn near death in prison. Wasn't my life always equated to death anyway? Weren't you the ones that told us we were diseased? That we carried the epidemic plague causing the wipeout of an entire race? That the origin of AIDS is from us sleeping with apes in the first place? And ain't it such a gag to observe us like we be specimens? To perform tests on our blood like it's a skeevy syphilis study, constantly using our bodies to make money, like when we sell out the arenas to your sporting events as if that's all we know how to do, while you sit in the stands amused while you clap front side of the court side seats, throwing banana peels at our feet because it's in our ability to shoot, run, and steal your favorite pastime anyway. So go ahead. Continue to wonder why we are so mad. Because for years, my skin been told it was too brown to be beautiful. My hair been compared to the fur on a primate's back. My features been too beast-like, and I think I am ready to attack. So please, stop selling the trauma of our histories. All for the sake of new clothing on your racks. Like a black character can only be the center of attention if you're a mockery, and a white one can be the survival expert so long as his image still intact. But it must be easy to be the survivor if you're the colonizer. In fact, there are entire countries that have yet to survive the lifelong damage you built on their backs. So, when a black boy gets placed in front of the world in your hoodie, please understand that instead of reminding him he comes from kings, you are telling the butt of every joke that has ever been used to push him down. So maybe I should lighten up. Laugh a little. Slap my knees and not see it as such a big deal. But I am just too afraid you will tell me to stop.